G'day and welcome to another episode. My name is Daethstro, the Aussie Geek, and today we are looking at Fanstoys Lupus, aka Weirdwolf, and here he is in his wolf form. This is how I'm having him displayed. So as per normal, whatever I display them in, I will put them into that mode. We will transform, in this case, him into robot mode, and then transform him back into wolf mode. And he does look very good. You will notice I have his head tilted. He has a very unique method for head movement, especially in his wolf mode. Because what you can do, once I straighten this out, you have this piece here. And you have this hinge here. Now, depending on which way you have this, depends on which way you can bend the head. So if I tilt his head around this way, and then very tightly rotate it this way, now he can tilt his head up and at weird wonky ways, and so on and so forth. So if you have this down here, he can look down. If you have it the other side, he'll look the other side. So there is that. His jaw does move very nicely. I love the red of the eye. Really like that. So there he is, all transformed. He does come in robot mode. So just be aware. So if you're getting this going, well, I got mine in robot mode, well, give me a little bit and you'll be able to see how it transforms from robot mode. He does have a wiggly tail. I will point out that this was around the other way. So if you can't line this up, then there's a good chance I know why. And honestly, I just realized something, but hopefully I won't have to fight too much with it. Hopefully I've stretched it enough. But we do have a little bit of articulation. Like I said, we've had the head, we have the mouth. We can do full 360 with the forearms, but then the back piece is getting in the way. We do have front and back with the paw, with the upper arms. You do have paw movement up and down and in and out. There is an ankle tilt there. And providing I don't knock everything down with the hindquarters, legs can do full 360. They can go out that much. And you do have nothing there. You go in and out, which I'll show an interesting thing in a minute. You do have toe bend and you do have ankle tilt in. But for those of you who are curious, and I do like this, you can give him what I call the good boy mode, which is if you straighten out his toes and line up his legs just the right way, you can get him. And then what we can do is we can rotate that neck joint a little bit so we have it the other way around and bring that down. And we have, if it focuses, we have good boy mode. So he's sitting like a good boy. But apart from that, we do have one more thing in here. If we flip this up, we have Monzo. Now, you're going to ask me, why is his legs pointed backwards? And to which I would say, this is the easiest way to get him to sit down, because if I tilt this the other way, he doesn't want to fit. So he will fit in there, sort of leaning forward, if you close that up. So we can have a look. We just put Monzo off for the time being. We can have a look inside there. As you can see, he does have controls. It's very much the same as what's in Chomp and Dracula. I will point out, though, that this does move, and do not catch your finger on this. It will pop off. I've done that. It took me 3/4 an hour to get it back in place. Also, if you press too hard on this, you have a slider here that pushes into his back for transformation. It will go down. It doesn't take much to actually push him down. So there we go. All right, we'll have a quick look at Monzo. And I will admit, out of all the Decepticon headmasters, I think he looks the best. As long as I can keep him focused. There is so much paint and so much color for this. You know, I'm really impressed. I'm trying to remember whether it was Weirdwolf or Mindwipe that came out first, because Chomp came out later. But I have a feeling it was Weirdwolf who came first, but it's weird because there's so much paint and detail on this, and I can't be certain if that was the way it was in the original release, but I'm pretty sure they haven't really changed anything. And just for a comparison, I've got them here. Here is Grax, which his face looks nice, but his body is really, really dark and dull. And if I reach over here without knocking Optimus off, there is Vorath. As you can see, once again, just a big black body. There's a little bit of paint on the eyes, but that's about it. And we'll get back to them in a minute. Also, for articulation, their arm can go up that far. Head can't twist. None of them can. Arm can go out that far. You have elbow bend. You have a hand in there, but you can't do anything with it. There is no waist swivel. You can get your legs up that far if I stay focused. You get it back that far before you start hitting the head. If I get this up out of the way, you get a little bit of outward. You get bend back and forwards, and you do have a ball jointed ankle tilt. Gets you in that far and up and down a bit. Now I will say, just like Vorath and unlike Grax, there is no tabbing points for his arms. So if I bring Grax back in, I don't know how well you can see it. You have, if I can keep it focused, you have this tab right here that goes under here. Both Vorax and Monzo do not have it. It's just basically a flat piece and there's no tab there. So we won't transform this guy yet because I want to bring in all the other headmasters. So we'll stand Weirdwolf up again for our first size comparison. We'll lift his head up so you can see. So there's that, and we'll bring Monzo in, and he can stand there if he doesn't fall over. He stands pretty well, but it could be just the way I have him angled. And we'll try to actually focus. Here we have Fanstoys Chomp. So Skull Cruncher. And of course we've seen Grax. And if I can do this without him falling over, here is Mind Wipe. I gotta find a way to either possibly tighten those ankle joints up so he won't fall over. He stands perfectly fine if you just leave him in one place, but if you move him like I've been, he wants to keep falling over. And there is Vorath. So there we go. So there is the Decepticon headmasters. I'm not including Apeface and Snapdragon because technically I count them as the Decepticon triple changer headmasters. So there is that. So we'll just put you guys off to the side now. And no, I'm not doing a size comparison with them all transformed. I apologize. But no, not happening. Chomp over here. And Grax. And final size comparison. Here he is with LG62 Windblade. As you can see, he absolutely towers over her. I would say she's just a bit wider. And as for, well, we've done height, length. Yeah, even not messing with my camera. Yeah, he's obviously longer. So there is that. Now we'll put Monzo off to the side, and I will say I still reckon Monzo looks best. We'll might as well do the added accessories now. One thing I haven't paid attention to, and I really should have a look in the book. Give me half a second. Nope, didn't think so. So with Chomp, you can actually put Chomp's weapon, which this is Weirdwolf's. You can put Chomp's in the back here, but I don't see any tabbing points. And here's the instructions and card. And I've just had a quick look at the instructions, and there is nothing there saying how to actually attach the gun in this mode. There is another accessory, but we will leave that for after. So let's start by getting this guy transformed. Also, he has die cast here, and one of my screw covers keeps popping off, so hopefully he'll stay put. Alright, so first I'm going to split the back end, and I'm going to detach the sword, and they can just all straighten up, and voila. Sword. Like I said, my handle was this way around, which doesn't really help for holding it in robot mode, and definitely doesn't help for wolf mode. So there you go. Alright, what do we want to do next? We might as well go from the legs and work our way up. Alright, so we'll start by collapsing this piece here. We have that flipped down, and you're just going to give it a gentle push, and as long as everything lines up properly, you might have to grab into the sides. Just collapse that as far as it'll go. There we go. Because then this will fall down here, but we'll get to that in a minute. Alright, so what we want to do is we're going to flip these pieces up a little bit, and we're just going to flip these up a little bit. So we're going to, I'm just trying to remember, you're going to flip all this back because there's nothing but clearance basically here for the legs. So that's going to rotate all the way down. This knee is going to come with it and flip it all the way out. This is honestly a very simple transformation. Honestly, it really is. And then what we're going to do is we're going to flip. There's a piece inside here. Yeah. And that's going to come out as far as it'll go. And then we want to rotate this. So that might actually be in my way. So I might have to do that a little bit afterwards. So I'll just flip that back up. No, that's not it. Yeah, I thought I was missing something. So come in here, as long as the legs are the way. It might tab in really well. And flip that out. Now we should be pretty right. This is going to flip all the way around. So we form the side of the leg. And then what we're going to do is we're going to rotate this up. And we're going to flip this piece out. Like so. It's only going to stop this far. Then we can rotate all this up like so. So all this is going to have to go under the foot. That's your sole. And then what's going to happen is you're going to fold this across. That's just going to rest in there. That's going to sit at the back. And that's it. Leg done. Nothing really tabs in anywhere. You can probably leave that out a little bit. Which is the only downside I found. Like I said, it sort of just sits. It sits in there. It doesn't really tab in. So that's one of the only things I don't like about it is I like having a proper tabbing point. But it is a little bit more difficult, and providing that stays out, because that's got to fill in that gap. Like so. I'll end up spending like 20 minutes just filling that flap. There we go. All right, same on the other side. So that's just all going to fold it down. Like so. This time we're going to remember to flip this piece out as long as the leg is not in the way. And we can flip, if we can get our finger in. Trim to my nails too. Flip that out. This all rotates. And then we're going to, where is it? Good point. Where is it? Here? No, hang on. Oh, there it is. I was going to say, where the hell did the side of the foot go? That folds out there. This rotates back flat as it possibly can. This folds in. And the paws just rest up against the back of the heels. So, there we go. And then knees are all good. So, there we go. I'm just, right now, he's a little top heavy. But it's right, once you've got things where things have to go. So, like I said, die cast feet. So, he will stand fine. He does lean a little bit. I think it's those ankles. I could probably tighten them a little bit. I'll see what happens. I might fiddle with it. I might not. All right, so we're going to rotate the arms down, which will help a little bit because there's die cast in the forearms. Now, there is an issue, not an issue, but a slight difficulty with these, which I will get to it in a moment, especially in robot mode if those of you having trouble. So this is going to flip up because the fingers are in here. Now, I made sure, if I can get it out, to get my parts separated because this is painful, especially with mine not having any nails. You want to flip that up. And then what you're going to do is you're going to rotate this away so the paw goes out the back. So that'll all fold through there. You want to fold the paw against the palm, and that's going to sit like that. You can close it up a bit. It's up to you. And then we can rotate the wrist, and then we can close that back up again, and that's one arm all done. All right, same on the other side. I might actually try tightening those ankles. So lift that up. And come in here with the part separator, flip that out, flip all this back, and I just put that back where it was. Come on, get out. Thank you. Put that down, flip that back, can flip that in a little bit. Don't flip it in too far, and I'll show you why in a minute. Flip that around, close up the forearm, and voila. Give me half a second. I'm going to try tightening up his ankles. Okay, tighten up a little bit. They're a little bit squeaky now, but it's all right. It'll be fine. All right, so we're at the home stretch, which I'll raise the camera a little bit. One of these days, I'll have an automatic razor, and it will be nice. All right, so then what we're going to do is we're going to untab the head, and it's going to fit in that gap. And we are now headless. Big surprise, and you can fiddle with those if you want. But there we go. So then we're going to bring in Monzo. And as I said, there's no tabs in the sides. Just press the arms tight against the body. Plug his knees together here. And just fold them up. This is not going to tab in anywhere here. Like so. And we have a head. And I admit my face is a little wonky. And I will show you why. Before I put stick his head on. So he does come with, if I can get it the right way around, a alternative face, and this was the actual face. Oh, excuse me, Weirdwolf. This was the original face that came with it. And you know what? Screw it. I'm going to get it out of the bag. I honestly thought I lost it because I did it on my kitchen bench, and then I went to do this review, and I'm like, oh shit, where's the extra face gone? And I'm like, oh crap, I hope I haven't lost it. And I thankfully found it next to the sugar. So there is, if I can get it to focus, come on. Come on, focus. Actually, let's do it the way I think I did it the other day. We're going to try focusing on that. Let's see how that goes. It kind of worked. Kinda. So we have this face here. Hopefully it's not going to better the zoom for me. And then we have this face here. I'm trying to figure out the best way to hold it. So, like I said, this is the original face. This is the alternative face. To pop it off, you basically have to get it off here, but that's really tight, and I don't think I've got it quite pushed far enough. But this one has a smaller nose and a wider chin. This has a big chin, a big Bruce Campbell chin with a small nose. So from what I can work out, this is the animation version. This is the toy version. So it's one of the few times you actually get an alternative face. Chomp didn't come with one. Dracula didn't come with one. It's, for whatever reason, only Lupus came with one. And now that can go in the box where I potentially cannot lose it. Fingers crossed. Alright, let's bring him back in and focus. As always, Decepticon logo not included. One of these days I might actually do a video of me putting one of my stickers on. If that interests you, let me know in the comments. And of course we have head, we have port that plugs in. Very nice and snug. I will say I think it plugs in better than Chomp does. But there is Weirdwolf in his robot mode. So he does look outstanding. Like, I remember hearing nothing but negative comments regarding Weirdwolf. He's the worst Fanstoy figure that they ever made. What are you talking about? What the hell are you talking about? I love this guy. The transformation is simple. It's easy. The details are great. Apart from potentially popping off the console in his back, I have no other real major issues apart from one little one that I noticed when I got him out of the box. Apart from that, not a single shred of trouble or issue I've had with this figure. And this is something I think I keep forgetting to show, but you can bring this down, although it's a bit tight, and we have our stats, which I'm trying to figure out how you read it. I think it might be all right, so he's not very fast, he's not very strong, but he's really smart. And like I said, I don't think I really did that with any of the other characters. Actually, I can't really get the mind wipes. I could get the chomps, but yeah. So, yeah, I think I've probably shown them partly during transformation, but this is the first time I really actually thought of it. And I'm like, you know what? I don't think I've actually ever showed it. So there is that, and that feels like diecast too. So there is that. All right. So let's get this guy armed up, and here is one of my other issues. And I really should have done this before I started this review. These tabs do not fit properly in his hands. I've tried. His right hand, it won't go in, and left hand I have to do some serious force. So I'm not even going to wrap his thumb around. So I think I should have actually shaved a bit off of, unless I've managed. Oh, okay. So I've managed over the last week to actually get that tab to actually fit properly, apparently. There we go. I'm not even going to attempt it in the other arm. But he can hold his gun, and of course, Weirdwolf comes with his sword, and I had less trouble with this one. So we can fold that out. And like I said, if this is around the other way, it will not plug in because the tab's in the wrong spot. So let's see if I can get that in. There we go. No problem. So there he is, all armed up with sword and gun, ready to destroy some Autobots. And make sure his knees are the right way. But let's do our final size comparison for now. Here he is with MP10. And honestly, he's taller. Just looking from feet to head, he's actually taller than Optimus. Probably just, probably just a smidge. Like literally just a smidge taller than Optimus. But he is pretty damn big. So, plus I think mine's actually not quite standing up straight enough. So, from that angle, I'd say he's a little bit shorter. So it's perspective by the looks of it. So, there we go. I was going to bring Galvatron in here, and I'm like, I don't feel like it. I've already got the other headmasters, so let's just stick with that. All right, so we'll just get his weapons out of the way again, so we can do articulation. All right, so stand him up a bit and drop him down a little bit because we got a whole lot of camera up the top that we really don't need. So head can do a full 360, but it's very tight on mine. He can look up a little bit. He can look down quite a bit, but I feel like I'm going to start untabbing that. Arms can do a full 360. They go out that far. They're not very far at all. We have bicep rotation. We have double jointed elbow, which gets you that far. We have wrist swivel. We have individually articulated fingers with a pin here, individual pins for here. Thumb is on a ball joint, which mine was very tight, trying to get him to there, and I'm not moving it again. And we do have, I thought I had a bit of a wiggle there too, but apparently not. We have ratcheted waist swivel. We have no ab crunch, which I would have been shocked if we did. We have flaps for here and here. Leg goes out that far. Doesn't hold very well because of all the die cast in the foot. It goes back that far and holds it a little bit better. Leg can go out, or go up, I should say, a long way. We do have hip swivel. We have single jointed knee that may pop the back here out, but it does get there. We have ankle tilt. We have huge toe down and not really toe up. I suppose you can lift that out of the way and get up way more if that's something that you could possibly use. Alright, so we'll get all this in place and then we will get him back into animal mode because that's how he's staying on my shelf. Alright, so let's take Monzo out again and we'll put him to the side. Alright, we're going to lift the head up and this whole thing tabs into here. So if it doesn't tab in, you may not have it quite lined up. Now I'm going to have to lift the camera up again. Apologies. Alright. The issue I had first time transforming him. Alright. You had this piece back here, which I pointed out. Mine was pushed way into the forearm. So I'm still going to need me part separator. So when I lift it up, I'll have to rotate his hand first. Lift that up. So basically what's going to happen is, as you would have seen partly during the initial transformation, this rotates around. So you lift that up to make it draw it out of the way. You rotate all this back and the hand goes in and the foot straightens out. And then you close this up and then you can push that over, which sort of catches the fingers. Now, if this piece is in here, the fingers will not go through. So if you're having trouble and it's getting stuck, you need to get in there, and you can easily do it by, and I'm doing this without part separator. Just get in there with your finger or your thumb or whatever, or a tool, and push that piece out. That will give you the clearance to fix the hand up. And that way, this will tab into the top of the paw. And like I said, that will fold in. You can leave that out if you want. It's up to you. It just sort of covers over the fingers. But yeah, if you cannot get your fingers into his forearm, that's why. Alright, so back on the other side. Pull that out. Pull this down out a bit. And make sure my fingers are the right way around. Rotate that back. Straighten out the paw. Close that up. And we have our front legs all done. All right, now we can do the back legs. I don't think I'm going to need my part separator for this. So here we go. So I'm just going to fold those down a bit and unfocus everything. Now you can do this piece, but I'm just going to do it for last. All right, so what you're going to do is you're going to flip the paw all the way out. You're going to rotate this in to fill in this gap. You're going to flip this open and you're going to rotate it all the way around, like so. You want to fold this piece in for clearance, and you can do this now because this is a tab that you don't, I can't find a purpose for. I really can't. But this is going to plug into here, and that's going to sort of lock, well, not really lock, but get that into place. And we can sort of rotate our paw this away because this is going to fold in. And we do the same on the other side. You want to extend the paw as far as it'll go. Flip this out. Flip this down. Rotate all that. Rotate that in. Fold this down. And as long as everything plugs in, you're on top. All right, now this can be a little bit of a pain. This sort of, let's call it combiner warsing, does work, but at the same time it doesn't. Because what you've got to do is you've got to bend both this joint and this joint. So you want to bend both of them. because what you want to do is you need to get all this sort of over here. And just try to also keep the side skirts inside. So just try to, you can also try to flip these up, but you basically want to just make sure that everything straightens up. So you sort of want this as close as you can to here. Now we can just flip the knee up there, and that's sitting pretty much right where we want it. All right, do the same thing on the other side. Get that front one out of the way. So if you can get both of them working at the same time, and just give them a good shove if you need to, and you should be able to line everything up. And if things are still not lining up, just give them a push while they're together. Now, this is a thing that I can't work out. So I'm thinking that at one point this was supposed to have a back slider, because you have this this tab here, inside here, which was part of the leg. You also have, actually I might be able to do it, flip this out, if my lower leg's not in the way. Right, you have this tab, this port in here, and you have this tab. So at one point I would assume this was supposed to slide out, because there's no sliding mechanism, to tab into there. But it doesn't do anything. There's no locking point for that. So apart from this all sitting here and being pressed up against here, there is no actual tabbing point, which is really, 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 really bizarre. Alright, so straighten his arms and legs out so we actually have some stability. We can flip these down so they're flat-ish as far as they'll go. I think I've got my ankle, my waist swivel going a little bit. Could also be that my legs are a little bit wonky, which I think they are. I'm just having a look. I think I'm pretty spot on. I think it's mostly just the way I've got my paws. All right, so we can bring the sword in, and you can just sort of break the sculpt a little bit. Just part those legs just a little bit, and you have the grooves in here. They should all line up. So just sort of sit. Where is it? Sort of sit that in there. One side. It probably helps. There's sort of a groove in here. I don't think I'm quite getting it on the other side. See if I can get it. Come on. Yeah, just sort of groove that in there. Press those together. It's very much sort of like how Chomp's tail works as well. And we're almost done. Last step. All right. You may need to move the arms for this, but you basically need to get into here like we did. To push down, we want to push up. So you can get your fingers sort of behind there, best you can, and just start sliding that up. If you need to, lift up the canopy and get your finger into the sides. Don't grab the console, don't grab the controls, grab the sides and just give them a pull. And like I said, it's mostly friction. I think my waist is a bit off. No, I don't think my waist is. I reckon it's my paws. It's got to be my paws that are a bit wonky. Like I said, if you push too hard on that, it's going to start going down. Ironically, mine's actually surprisingly tighter than I expected. So, yeah, just gentle to close it. And, of course, my Monzo usually is in robot mode. So, I just sort of stick him in front. And there he is. Right there. Looking a little derpy with by the way I've got his knees. There you go. That looks a bit better. So there we go. So there is no weapon storage. There's nowhere that, according to instructions, someone might have figured out. But there is actually one thing I want to try. And this is completely fan mode, but I'm curious. So let's see if this will work. I think I'm probably going to have to actually use, yeah, I'm going to have to use the neck joint. If I do that, probably shouldn't do this. Do that. No. I was going to say, I wonder if I can do a sort of makeshift Voltron mode. And I'm starting to actually compress the canopy anyway. There we go. So, there we go. Let's not do that. It's just going to go into heartbreak. But yeah, so I like having myself on the side. So there we go. Tilt his head. We can open his mouth. You can go eat some Autobots. And of course the biceps and that, which we've already gone through. So there he is. So if you liked this figure, give me a thumbs up. If you did not, well, let me rephrase that. If you liked this video, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't like this video, give me a thumbs down. I promise you it will not hurt my feelings. Subscribe, ring that bell, leave me a comment. I do love to interact. I loved being able to interact during the Devastator videos or the Constructicon videos. So, please, I love interacting with those of you who watch. Also, I'm noticing on the camera he's coming across a lot more yellow. He's a lot more of a darker color. I think it's the light, honestly. But yeah, I'm getting sidetracking myself. But yeah, so if you like this video, do all the usual stuff, and I'll catch you later.